elsewhere in New York City, in Battery Park City, Michelle Franzen is there. That is the lower tip of Manhattan, where the storm surge hit a record high of over 13 feet. What can you tell us from there?
Yeah, certainly, Chris, the waters have receded from Battery Park City and along the walkway, the Esplanade, as it's known here. As you mentioned, that historic flooding, nearly 14 feet. The last time that they had that situation was back in 1821. So it was a big, massive wave of water that came in during that surge. What we do know is that water, of course, we're hearing more from the MTA, the Mass Transit Authority here in New York City, about the subway system and how it's been compromised. Many of the lines there, and they're talking about how the subway system, over 108 years old, how they're just now starting to get in there and assess the damage, and it seems to be very severe, very extended, that they'll have to go in and fix that situation. Back here in lower Manhattan, Battery Park City, of course, this part of the area, the evacuation area that was on the list. Many people here, either if they did stay in this area, they probably had to leave at some point because the power was turned off in this area. And that's a whole, another issue that they'll have to face. Con Edison, the utility, systematically shutting down certain parts of the city before this storm all the way, moved through here. So it would be easier for them in the end to restore that power. So we've got a lot of issues. This night is not over. I can tell you, Chris, being inside the satellite truck, the massive truck itself with the satellite dish. Of course, we've had to put that down because of these wind gusts and can't operate, and the truck is just rocking back and forth. These sustained winds are still pretty powerful, and so far not giving up, and then you've got the gusts on top of that. So it's going to be a long night still on top of everything that's going on.
All right, Michelle, you stay safe where you are. And I've just been given an update on the Midwest effects of Sandy, and we have some pretty wide-ranging information that we haven't gotten before. So let me just go through it for you, because we've been talking mostly about the eastern seaboard, but it's really having an impact in a lot of other places. The Chicago Lakeshore, there is a flood warning. It goes into effect at 1 o'clock. Well, it went into effect at 1 o'clock this morning, and it will continue until 4 p.m. Wednesday. Waves of 16 to 22 feet, they're saying, are likely to build along the Cook County shoreline. Indiana, they're expected to be high gusty winds there, as high as 50 miles per hour across parts of Indiana, while the state is sending utility crews to other parts of the East Coast. Extreme high winds in northwest Ohio from 30 to 40 miles per hour with gusts of up to 70 miles per hour are possible along the lake through Tuesday afternoon. That is from the National Weather Service in Cleveland. Also, the Ohio Turnpike Commission issued a high wind ban from 5 o'clock today. That's going to continue through tomorrow morning. That means that a lot of those big trucks and trailers traveling on the turnpike will not be allowed to go. And we saw that there was a pileup elsewhere, so that's a big concern. In Michigan, 23,000 people without power there. Michigan utilities say high winds have knocked out power to those homes and businesses, and they actually expect more to come as the severe weather pushes through that state. And finally, Wisconsin, partial evacuation in the village of Pleasant Prairie due to Sandy. Dangerous high waves of 14 to 18 feet expected along Lake Michigan. So again, this story still developing, even as we have nearly 6 million customers without power on the East Coast. It is 1:54 here on the East Coast. We will take a quick break and be back with more continuing coverage.